Everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Arrow in the Head show. Lance, of course, and my co-host / host, the Arrow himself, John. Good to see you, buddy. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, buddy.
First one of 2023, man. I'm still here. And so are you. It's good to see you. Good.
Yeah, good to see you, man. Yeah, of course we made it. Come on. What are we? Made of lint?
Hey, you never know. Life is, it's quick.
I know that. Don't get me started, dude. Don't get me started. How's your New Year's?
It was easy, man. It was easy. We stayed. I told you last episode, I didn't make it back home because of Southwest. So just kind of hung around here. There's a little place by my house. There's like a town party and some champagne and stuff. Did that, fireworks, and then went back home. Nice. Very, very, very old person to me, but I liked it. It was easy. What about you?
Nothing. Stuck around, drank champagne, ate some good food, hang out with, loved ones, and nothing really to write about. But I've never been a big New Year's guy. I mean, like in my 20s and shit, yeah, I'd go out to the club or go to a New Year's rave and stuff like that. But once I became a grown-up, I don't need New Year's to go to a bar and party. I do that, every weekend. So did you have any New Year resolution, out of curiosity?
So I don't actually make New Year's resolutions, but I always have things I want to do. That makes sense. I don't know. I'm kind of with you. Like I'm anti-traditional when it comes to that, because it's like, it's a new year. It's like, no, but there's things. It's like, okay, usually by the end of one year, I'm realizing what I'm not doing, what I'm fucking up, or what I need to be better at, and I kind of transition that. So I mean, if you would have put me in a spot on the internet, I would say I want to get in better shape. That'd be one of them. I've been on my way and I'm doing better than I've ever done, but I want to continue this and do a little bit better. And I want to learn the harmonica.
Okay. Yeah, got to learn something, right?
I want to be that old soulful man, like on the corner, just rocking out the harp,
I could see it too.
Yeah. I mean, to get the shirt open, some big hat, and fun.
Of course, the shirt is open. You fucking
man
whore, man.
Some suit. I want to be that guy, just kind of like not a bum, but kind of in bum sort of attire, like just on some corner. I don't know. Get a couple bucks.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome.
We
all have. Well, I don't believe in New Year's resolutions, because I have resolutions like every day. Of the year, this is my opinion, obviously, guys, dolls, do whatever the fuck makes you happy.
Yeah. I mean, if you need it,
I don't give a shit. Yeah. But for me, I'm not going to wait till the end of the year. Okay, now I'm going to do this. And no, you can do it all year. With that said, I can't ignore the fact that at the end of a year, you can't help but be reflective.
You should
and look back at your year. And, see where you want it to be by the end of the year and see where you're at, whether it be professionally, on a personal level, health-wise, whatnot, and then make some adjustments for the next year. You can't help it. So, yeah.
So what are your adjustments?
None. I'm good.
Yeah. So I'm going to be learning harmonica, and you're just going to be sitting around just being
good.
Done.
I did join a new gym. I was with another gym before, which I didn't care for. So I joined a new gym like a week ago. So that's cool. So it's a gym that has everything. Like when I train, I like free weights. I'm a big free weight guy.
Yeah, the better. Usually
the gym I used to be at had like 2 benches, but like a fuckload of machines. And every time I'd go to use the bench to be like a lineup, I'm like, fuck this shit. So I basically quit that gym. I'm like, I want a gym that has a lot of free weights, and I found one. So now, I went, train, your bench, your incline dumbbell press, your flies, whatever, So I have the right gym now, so that's cool. And I guess if I had to make one adjustment in my life from 2022 to 2023, it's always easier to go to the negative. It's easier to drink a bottle of whiskey than it is to hit the gym.
Yeah.
But and that's just one example. But basically, the conscious decision I've made is to put in more into the positives and kind of diminish a bit of the negative because I'm a bit of a party guy, so maybe I need to chill the fuck out a little bit, you know?
Oh, I see what you're trying to be more positive.
I'm trying to put my energy into things that are more positive as
Hey,
opposed to getting to, fist fights at bars. Yeah. Well, look, first episode of 2023. We picked a good one, I think. And we're going to dive in balls deep. But before then, what are you drinking?
My friend, I'm a little different today. I don't know. I want to switch it up. I went and got a bottle of sake, dry sake. I don't know how to say the top name. Oziki. I don't know how to say that correctly, but it doesn't matter. It's good. Warm it up on the stove. I got myself a little, I'm a dork, but I got a Universal shot glass, and it's when Universal Studios used to be good back in the day when I had Jaws, Terminator 2, of course.
Yeah.
And all the good stuff, Twister, man, I'll just sit there and take a couple of little sake shots as we discuss one of my favorite movies. What about you?
First and foremost, I hate sake. I think it tastes like cat piss. So just wanted to put that out there so everybody knows.
It's not for everybody. I understand that.
No. For me, I'm going with my homeboy. Hito.
Tito's.
Vodka. A little bit of Sunnyside OJ.
Okay, making yourself a screwdriver. Nice.
Little finger twirl. And take your kaksaki, you fuck.
I like Japanese food and drink.
Arigato. Cheers, motherfucker. And cheers to all of you. Happy New Year, whatever your resolution or lack of resolution is. I hope you pull it off. Also, whatever positives you had in 2022, I hope you build on top of them. And whatever negatives you had in 2022, I hope you wean it out. So make 2023 your fucking year. So cheers to that.
Yeah, and everybody else.
Hello, my friends! Hey!
Yes.
One of the best, hands down, remakes of all time. I wish it got more credit for that. I know The Thing gets a lot and The Thing deserves it, but The Blob, I think, is up there, honestly, in terms of such a good remake that it overtakes the original. I mean, listen, don't get me wrong, Steve McQueen is, he's a badass. But this is the superior version in my eyes.
Oh, definitely. Well, first and foremost, the original 1958 sucks, in my opinion. It sucks.
Supposed to be nicer, but yes.
No, it's boring. It's
boring. Yes, it's
boring.
It's
so boring. Actually, it's funny. I don't know if you knew this, but the original was funded by a Christian group. And the message of the original is basically very wrath of God driven, and I found it interesting that the remake, 1988 remake, Chuck Russell directed, wrote with Frank Darabont, went in a completely different direction. It's not about the wrath of God, although they have hints about it, with the priest and everything. Whatever. Yeah, exactly. But really, it's about not trusting grown-ups.
Yeah, well, it's a little definitely anti-government for sure.
Anti-government and anti-establishment, and look, at the end of the day, who's the hero of the movie? It's the bad boy, the mullet man, Kevin Dillon, so Flag. He's the hero of the movie, anti-establishment, anti-authority. Mm-hmm. So it really, the remake did take a very different stance thematically. But, let's not get too... deep thoughts by Jack Andy here. It's a movie about a giant piece of Jell-O eating people. So, but just wanted to point that out.
Been a fan for a very long time. In fact, I remember when it came out, I went and got the DVD, and I was wondering, man, I've had this for years, dude. 2001, so that shows my age. And I was waiting to upgrade when I always buy bulk. I always buy a bunch of movies, and I'm not a completist, so that's why. I can afford to do this, but Shop Factory came out with a great special edition, man. And I was listening to commentaries and watching the movie, and it's a special effects masterclass in practical effects. Now, I'll be honest, not all of them quite live up this many years later, but it doesn't matter because when they're on, and it really gives this movie an entire existence because I love creature features. I love all horror.
Yeah.
But some people's loves in slashers, some people's loves in ghosts and the supernatural. I'm 100% about a monster. You give me a monster eating, killing, I'm like a pig in shit. I love it. And so this is just everything I've always wanted. Effects, cool kills, cool gore, oddly funny. It's very witty. Obviously I'll give that probably more to Chuck Russell. And also in terms of structure and setup and payoff and just character development and all these little things. I mean, it's surprisingly sharp. And I would, think that's Russell and Mr. Darrenbach coming together and kicking ass, man. Something I didn't know that I got from the commentary. I didn't realize that Dream Warriors was Russell's first movie. Yeah. I guess he went and pitched the Blob remake, and Robert Shea was so impressed. He's like, well, we could get to that, but I got some issues over here with Freddie. You might want to take a look at this movie before it was made. Got him Dream Warriors. That
Not
then
just
got
him, Darabont as well.
Well, he brought in Darabont because I guess they were old friends, so he brought him in for a rewrite on that.
They met on the set of
Dark
Hell Night.
Right?
Hell Night,
yeah, with Linda Blair, right?
Yeah, exactly. Which I've never seen, by the way, so I should give it a shot at some point. So they became friends there, and they weren't even there as writer directors. I forgot what positions they were, but I think Darabont
they met there. Yeah.
Yeah, they met on that set. They were in other positions, and you're absolutely right. The Blob is what got them the Dream Warrior gig, and then the Blob afterwards, obviously.
Yeah, what a 1-2, man! What a 1-2. Just real quick, Russell's a vastly underrated director.
So. No, I agree. What I really, I've always loved the film, but what I really liked about it is also what I hated about it is that it established a bunch of characters that I grew fond of, namely the sheriff and the waitress. You don't see that in movies very often, like people like in their 40s or 50s, kind of, want to go on a date, kind of feeling each other out.
No, it's a young man's game. Yes.
Exactly. You don't see that. So that subplot with the sheriff and the waitress, I thought was very endearing, and the actors were great. And even though I remembered what was going to happen, I watched it a couple days ago, I was still kind of like, I would have liked to seen that date.
But isn't that the charm of the movie? Is that like you keep thinking, oh, these people are the main characters, these people are going to survive, and they like it keeps subverting. I mean, I hate subverting expectations ever since Rian Johnson, but this is a movie that I think did it right. Like, I agree with you. I forgot they killed the sheriff. Actually, I completely forgot. I remember the waitress, but then the sheriff shows up all melted in the phone booth, and I was like,
that was a good cracker, man. He was a good cracker. I like that guy, man. I wanted to see more of that mofo. So
let's agree.
And the waitress.
I think this is because they casted a lot of really good character actors. And I have a whole list of people where I'm like, oh my, that guy. Because Jeffrey DeMunn's amazing. I mean, I wrote it down. Hitcher, Shawshank, Storm of the Century, The Green Mile, The Blob, and The Mist. It's like that motherfucker is awesome. I want him in more stuff. So you put him in this role. First 4 seconds, I'm like, oh, I like him. I like that guy. And so guys.
There's a bit where he's somewhere and he goes something along the lines of, and he looks at her, she says, I'm off at 11 or something on the bill. He goes, I got a friend I got to check on, or something like that. I remember I was like, oh, that sucks. That hurts, man, because I know, when he gets there, she's dead. But same as you, I totally forgot that we find out about his death when she's in the phone booth and his head.
Right.
She's like, you assholes are heartless. You're heartless. But, that is part of the film's magic. The same thing they did with the guy that played Paul. I forgot his name, because he's set up
to be the lead.
Yeah, to be the lead.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if you know this about that particular scene when Shawnee Smith finds him, being blobbed. They didn't tell Shawnee Smith it would be really the actor under there. She assumed it was going to be like a dummy, a prosthetic or whatever, just to get a shock from her, like a genuine shock from her. So when they shot the scene and she came in and he's there, she was like, what the fuck? So
I
that
didn't know
reaction that's in the picture is, her genuine reaction to it. It's a cool little director trick. Yeah.
It's a cool shot, man, because it's rolling back out the window, and so it's kind of stretching and just
Yeah.
melting his face.
Yeah.
And I like that. They don't. I mean, I'm not saying this couldn't be made now, but it is almost hyperly violent in ways that I always think, like, man, people, I don't know, people might be a little bitchy now, man. One of my favorite parts, and I love when people listen. I think we've argued this in the past show, so I'll keep it short. I've never loved the rule keep kids and dogs safe, because I like kids and dogs. Well, I don't like kids. I like some kids, whatever. I like dogs. But I love when you break that rule if it makes sense. And this is a great one where they fucking kill the kid.
Yeah.
Like, they pull him in the water. I'm like, oh, and it comes out. Skin pulled back. Like, good. Take one out. And then the zipper thing comes back, and it's like, there's a few things in there with the kids that I like. But killing the kid, I was like, good. Show me that nobody's safe. Sheriff, he'll be at the end. Gone. You think the deputy's going to die first, of course, because he's the cocky, like, we got to get flag, and then he survives. Sheriff's dead. Jock, okay, well, he's going to be there. No, it's going to be Dylan. This had balls, man. Nobody's safe. Nobody's getting out. And like I said, character actors. Dude, hold on. Can we go over this real quick? All right, Jeffrey DeMunn is the sheriff, right? The deputy, his name is Bill Briggs. And I was thinking, he's the guy from RoboCop. Art LaFleur, which I was like, man, why do I love? I immediately like that guy.
Cobra.
So, but for me, because I'm a little younger, what I saw first was he was like the big boss guy in Trancers, and then but he's in Cobra as well. He's in Field of Dreams. He's in Death Warrant. I'm like, what a great guy! It's just nice and 90s for me. Jack Nance, from Twin Peaks is a doctor.
Raise her head,
yeah. Foghorn blows.
Lonesome foghorn.
I completely blocked this out of my mind. Bill Moseley as the scientist that just basically like left for dead.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, look at that cast. Character actors, man. And I think the waitress is from something that I haven't seen, but she seemed
familiar.
Well seasoned. Yeah. And she could act.
Definitely. Actually, the film, I don't know if I ever told you this, but the exteriors of the film, so all the town stuff and shit like that, was shot in Abbeville, Louisiana, which is not too far off from Lafayette. So when I shot my film, my first film, The Shelter, I shot it in Abbeville, Louisiana. And I passed by a movie theater, and I was with my producer, Donnie, and he's like, oh, do you recognize the theater? So I'm like, because that's the theater from the Blob remake. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And then, that's how I found out that's where it was shot. Yeah, Louisiana. And actually, I love not to eternalize on this, but I love Abbeville. I love, like, when I shot there, the mayor was gracious that we had police blocking roads for free. Everybody really treated us really well. And I could see from my own experience as to why, they would shoot their exteriors there, because it's just really easygoing, and everybody within Abbeville, for me anyways, was very supportive. And I had a low budget, so I could imagine how supportive they are when there's money being pumped out, because I think they had a $19 million budget, and $9 million went into the effects for the Blob.
That's very impressive to me, actually.
Yeah,
because the effects are, to me, the staple of the movie. I mean, everything else is amazing too, but let's be honest, if the Blob effects weren't memorable, it wouldn't be as memorable of a movie.
No, definitely. One of the reasons I love the movie so much, like I love The Thing, Carpenter's The Thing, which I think is a practical effects masterpiece, like Bonanza. It's ridiculous, but the Blob is below it, but it's still pretty high up
there, man. Yeah.
In terms of what they achieve, and just the guy being sucked in by the Blob through the sink, the
foot and hand or something.
I mean, the entire dude goes through that shit, and you feel it. You're like, that's rough, man. Or even the old dude, when he at the beginning, the vagrant, he has the Blob on his thing and he cuts his arm up, the Blob.
It goes up.
And I'm like, shit, man. So look, overall, I love the movie. I think it, and I'm not surprised you love the movie, to be honest, because it's a very cynical movie.
Yes,
Period.
yes.
Period.
But funny, cynical
Period.
but funny.
Period. I mean, everybody that's endearing dies. You have Kevin Dillon, who's, him and his mullet are the hero, really.
Yeah.
And Shawnee Smith, who's really at the end of the day, the Steve McQueen character of the original is Shawnee Smith.
Yeah, and she's badass. And I like that
she is badass.
they kind of save each other. It's not just him, it's not her. Like they work together. And I thought that's cool. She has the AR at the end. And
Yeah.
I love it.
Did you know that Shawnee Smith got her role in the Saw movies because James Wan and Lee Winnell grew up on the Blob, like they're about our age, and had a huge crush on her.
No,
So
but
when they made their movie, they went and got her.
when I hear stories like that, it makes me happy because in my mind, I always fantasize about making a movie, and that's kind of shit that I would 100% do. Big fan of Parker Lewis, get Courtney in there, let's go. Like fucking like random things like that. Like, yeah, exactly. She was cool, and then she could act, and it works, and she became, I think, more legendary and Saw to probably the horror community. But to me, my first, again, I have a thing for Burnett, so absolutely. When I was like 8 or 9 or whenever I first saw this, like, dude, yeah, cute little Shawnee and shit in the cheerleader uniform. Yeah, come on.
But I met her actually. I had drinks with her at some point, and she's cool as fuck. She really is.
I can see that.
Yeah, she was with me anyways. But there's a flip side to your story where it's cool and I could hire my heroes. I once got one of my heroes in negotiation for a role in one of my movies, and he turned out to not be so nice and tried to steal my own movie from me.
To be fair though,
just saying.
I would hire like the small kind of weird actors from smaller movies that weren't this big. Once you get a little big in Hollywood, you get an ego. And once you get an ego, you're useless. I don't care what I love you,
In my experience, people get jaded, and then they become mercenaries, and then they don't care about what they do. They care about the paycheck, but they don't care about what they do. And that's the one thing I've encountered a lot. Again, it's just my experiences. I mean, everybody's going through it.
Sure, but
is that you meet people that you looked up to, you grew up with, and they've made like 50 million fucking movies at this point, and now you want them for your own, and it's just mercenary. But anyways, let's just go back to Happy Times. I was saying, it's a very cynical movie, which brings me to probably one of the aspects that I won't say I didn't like, but it's not my favorite aspect of it, is that I would have rathered that it was an alien asteroid.
Really?
Yeah. As opposed to it's basically a chemical weapon test, and
got bacteria from space and is
and
faster or something.
Yeah, exactly. And it reminded me a bit. Remember the end of The Mist, which is very funny because Darabont obviously was behind. Of course,
the mist. The military backs it up.
Yeah. So that Thomas Jane at the end of The Mist shoots his family and shoots himself. Shoots his family and then sees that military was on its way. But he just shot his family, so it's very cynical. It's very downbeat, and although not even close to being at the same level as the ending of The fucking Mist, which is just like a buzzkill. I thought the whole it's not really aliens, and these people not really to help. They're corrupt government, who see citizens as expendable, not the Expendables, expendable. I get it. It's cool. It's a good idea. It deviates from the original, which was, from outer space. But I don't know. It's just not as engaging for me. How about that? Maybe because at this stage in my old age, I watch movies for escapism. I don't watch movies to remind me how the world sucks. I want to see aliens come and fuck us up, more than, it's the government again. Yeah, I don't know.
I can't fight you. Here's the thing. It doesn't bother me as much personally, but I am a big fan for almost everything I watch where it's like, I always say this, I want the monster to be real. You could still have the undertones of any issue you want, but it's always the Village from M. Night Shyamalan, where it's like, you just fucking make a monster movie. So I get where you're coming from, because I'm very much that same way. Like the monster has to be real. Things have to actually happen. I don't want it to be like, well, it was an acid trip, and just please make it happen. You get everything else shoved in the movie. So I actually completely understand that. I'm okay with this because I'm cynical and I like the fact that it kind of got out of their control, so it still was a monster in its own. But I know what you're saying. You want to be from space, and I can't fight you on that. I've been there with movies recently and before, so I think that's a valid criticism, actually. Honestly. It still look cool. Let's give the texture of the blob, though, alien or not. I don't know what it was. I got to do more research, but it's my favorite texture of a monster. Kind of like the ooze from Ghostbusters 2, but it has different layers. It's like opaque. It's pink. It moves. It has like little strands.
Actually, funnily enough that you mentioned Ghostbusters 2, because a deleted scene from the Blob of the Blob crawling towards the city was used in Ghostbusters 2.
No shit.
Yep.
I had no idea. Well, I'm a big Ghostbusters 2 fan, so I know people don't really like that movie, but they're wrong.
I like it, and I agree they are wrong. It's not at the level of the original, but it's still a fun.
No, but I mean,
fun time.
But as a close second, or at least a good second, it's still better than most. I don't know. I like Ghostbusters 2 though for the same reason, because it gets oddly cynical. It gets like really dark, and this. But then this is I don't. It's funny you say it's cynical, and I agree. But I guess I picked up more in the comedy this last watch.
Yeah.
The sleazy guy with the fucking bar in his trunk, and he has all the rings.
Yeah. You know what? I respected that guy, not because of the quasi date rape that he's trying to pull off, but because of his setup.
Yes.
Dude, like forget him. Like he could have half-assed that drink. Yeah, just put some fucking shit, mix it. No, he really went out of his way to fix her a proper drink.
Yeah, the blender. No, I agree. Like
exactly.
I watched it. I watched this time, and I was like, okay, is he going to put like everything in her drink and nothing in his? But he was even, and so like he is being a creep, 100%. Yeah. But it wasn't like his was a virgin daiquiri and hers was full, so he was still drinking. But yeah, then he was a creep. But I agree. He had like the whole fucking bar. Like, it was kind of cool. I was like, okay, I wish like it was more like Styles from Teen Wolf, like just party animal, like But I guess to kill him and for you to hate him, they had to.
Yeah, and then when he gets whacked, then you're happy to see him and die.
Yeah, he deserves it because he copped a feel when he should have copped a feel. It's like, dude.
The girl in the car is the girl, and I forgot her name. It's Eleniak, but I'll always remember her as the girl that pops out of the cake in Under Siege.
No way. Same girl?
Yeah, dude, same girl.
Really?
She was also a Playboy Playmate at some point.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel embarrassed. I didn't catch that. All right.
Yeah, and there was actually another Playboy Playmate, but she's in the movie within the movie. When they're watching a movie on the big screen.
Bit late for trimming hedges.
Isn't it also late to be trimming the hedges?
That was actually pretty funny. The slasher movie.
Yeah. She's like, let's give him something to watch. I was like, oh, yeah. I like it.
Yeah. So she was also Juliana. I forgot. We're bad with names, guys. And
yeah, listen, I'm not in my 20s. I'm 20s great with names. I'm in my 40s, not so much. I apologize, but that's life. Just wiping.
Actually, I have a question for you. What's your favorite kill in the movie?
I guess. It's hard because I got two that I always go back to. So can I give you two? Because I don't know if I can choose.
Give me two. Yeah.
Paul's death, because that to me is so iconic. It's what I think. The first thing I think of when I think of the Blob is it rolling back over him out the window. I think that's badass. And probably the kid's death, because I think it's ballsy as shit. Though the phone booth one I think is impressive because you could tell the pressure that was used. And I always find that like the dummy gets like clearly crushed.
That was done. The actual crush was done with a miniature.
That makes sense. I mean, I thought it was dummy, but yeah,
phone booth with a doll in it, and they just crushed it. Yeah,
because it seems aggressive. Those are that's usually what I go to, I guess. Then again, I mean, I feel like most of the kills are pretty badass. What are you thinking?
Oh no, same thing. The Paul kill, but the phone booth for me had more impact than the little kid.
That's fair. Phone. This is a cool one because it's a little slower. She's like trying to block it. She sees the sheriff, and they're like, "Oh, you're screwed. Yeah, he didn't make it. You're done, my friend." Yeah.
They should have really done a spin-off or a prequel of just the sheriff and her and their lives. I would have watched it. I really like that couple.
They were good, and we got good actors, man. I mean, well, we should have got a sequel because it's my favorite, one of my favorite endings, and I always remembered as a kid.
Me too.
It was. I'll be honest. I've told you this before. I love gospel music. So I always think of those like Baptist church tents, like Elvis. My favorite part of Elvis is like he goes to church tent, he starts moving. I'm like, I would be the same thing, but with no talent. And he's out there just preaching. He's all scarred and melted, and he's like, the end of days, and they're all like, oh. I was like, and he goes to the back, but when he goes. I don't know if the exact soon yet. Here's the thing, it's like growing. It's like, I want that fucking sequel. Some crazy preacher, scarred like a villain, like Jaws 2, the shark's all mangled up, out for revenge. That's a sequel. But
the movie tanked, you know that, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know it didn't do well. I don't know how bad it did.
No, it did pretty bad. It did pretty bad, yeah.
I guess it makes sense because we never got it.
And Rob Zombie actually at some point was slated to do another remake. But that didn't go through.
I know people hate him. I don't, so I'd always be down. But I guess it'd be so. I mean, it'd be so aggressively different than this that I don't know.
It would be trailer trash. Blob.
Yeah. Which whatever. I mean, but I get it. You can't replace. Let's be fair. It's Darabont. It's Darabont. Simple as that. I mean, the guy hasn't done a bad movie. Chuck Russell in his prime, or not his prime, but just in the 80s and 90s, kicking ass.
I gotta mention this just because I gotta mention it because it impressed the shit out of me. But the scene when Kevin Dillon's character does the jump.
Yeah, away from the military people.
Yeah, away from the military people. So you got the bike jumping, you got the police car crashing. Everything's in one shot in camera.
Yeah.
Beautiful fucking stunt work, man. No cuts. So I'm assuming they did it in one take. I'm assuming. But that was a beautiful stunt, man. That was I was like, whoa, okay. I like that they set it up at the very beginning of the movie. Of course.
Couldn't do it, and then this is the one that saves his ass.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty fucking cool, man. So
I agree.
I guess overall, I mean, maybe next movie, we'll find one that I love and that you hate. Which I'm going to talk about the next movie. We usually don't advertise what the next movie is going to be, but this week I'm putting my fucking foot down. You guys will see.
No, I'm just saying, like, you have to put your foot down. Just say it. It's not like a behind the scenes argument. I'm like, don't do it, Johnny.
They don't know. They don't know what happens behind closed doors. We know. Don't try to play dumb with me, okay? So I guess, look, what is there to say? It's a great fucking movie. It's fun. It's well paced. Great action. Great kills. Great gore. Great practical effects. Fun characters. Good sense of humor, dark humor, and not afraid to go, pull a page out of Hitchcock. Oh, that's the leads, but now I'm gonna whack him. Now you don't feel safe. So overall, you can't go wrong, man. Can't go wrong with the Blob, dog.
No, the Blob's amazing. End of story. Period.
Well, I was only seeing you, so
what's next week? You gotta come back to that.
It's been a long time coming. Deadly Friend.
Yes, I got to watch it for the first time. I have it ready and waiting.
Yeah,
so we'll see. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna like it. I don't know. We'll see.
It'll be interesting to see your opinion because you're you're a virgin to it. You've never seen it.
Yeah, so I didn't grow up with it. There's not. I don't have a tie to it, so it's completely blind. And those are always weird. Watching older movies, blind and new in this age. I'm better about it. I don't trust some people to do that. I don't know about you, but anytime I show like a friend that's not the biggest movie guy, an older movie, I like set a lot of things up. I'm like, okay, in 1988, these were the effects. This is how things went. This is how it goes. Because I don't trust people that just have an open mind. But John, I will have an open mind, regardless if I like it or hate it. I can tell you that much.
I'm definitely looking forward to your thoughts because we're going to come at this movie from two very different perspectives. You as somebody who watches it for the first time and who's a fan of 80s and 90s horror movies. And me as somebody that's watched it since its initial release, that knows its history inside and out, that knows everything about it. It'll be fun.
I'm excited. All right, well, I guess then until next week, John. I don't have anything to drink, but
yeah, me neither. As as we said last time, it's empty.
It's empty.
So,
John, I'm all ears, buddy. I'm all ears.
Oh yeah, dude, that was hilarious. Anyways, I'm all ears. Guys, what'd you think of the Blob? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Never seen it? Let us know. Spit the comments below. Subscribe.
You haven't
Do
go see it.
backflips. Jump on the trampoline. All the stuff you're supposed to be doing while watching the show. And we will see you next time with
Deadly
finally
Friend.
Deadly Friend. Be good, my
Bye,
man.
buddy.
All right,
See you soon.
peace. You got it, bro.